we're going to be here talking about a niche RPG company called Nihon Falcom. And we're specifically going to be talking and zeroing in on the English localizations. We're going to be talking a little bit about the company's presence here in the West. We're going to talk some about the official localizations that have come out and some of the games that have not been localized. And we're going to talk about the roles that fan translations have and will be playing going forward in the future. In the future. Okay, so go ahead. Okay, and that last point is important because we are a fan translation group called the Geofront. We primarily specialize in making fan localization projects for Falcom games. And in essence, I mean, we have been starting, I think that we've actually been doing stuff since January 2017, so this is about our 6-year anniversary. And we have about 40 members, and so it's like and so basically the type of work that we go in and do is localization patches, and effectively just a broad overview of the type of work that we do is that we have translators and editors who go in and work on the scripts, and then we have programmers who will go in and insert the text into the game, and then we will have graphics and video editors who will go in and make sure that the English text is in the graphics and the video part, and then we have testers who go in and save our butts and save us from a bunch of embarrassing bugs and, you know, just a bunch of tech stuff. And it's, yeah, sure. And effectively what we do then is we have our programmer, usually Ribos. He will go in and upload translation software patches that we upload to our website. And effectively what that means is that a fan can go in and purchase the games from Falcom, whether that be a physical copy or a digital copy, and then they can go in and download our translation patches software and automatically install them into the game. So effectively what that means is that it provides an avenue for you to be able to directly support the developers and be able to play the games in English at the same time. And so that's effectively the type of work that we go in and do. So we should probably go ahead and introduce ourselves individually before we go in and move forward. My name is Sly. I'm an editor. I've worked on a couple of projects here with the Geofront. I think I joined about 3 years ago. So yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Shanji. I'm a professional interpreter and translator. I work in the automotive industry and I do this on the side. So I actually do translation work for the Geofront. Been doing it for a couple of years now. It's a lot of fun. These are a lot of really great people and I'm very happy to be here.
Thanks. Shanji and Sly are the best. My name is Matthew Finch. I work on Dinosaur Resurrection. I introduced myself earlier. I'm the lead editor. I've been with the Geofront for a couple of years now. I did brief work on Trails to Azure and very brief work on East versus Trails in the Sky. Hope you guys have played those games. They're pretty awesome.
10 points to the Lloyd cosplay.
20 points to the Reen I saw earlier, by the way.
Good cosplay for sure.
Hey yo, my name's Stolteheim, dedicated everyman and troll poster at the Geofront circa 2020. They brought me on for QA testing for East vs. Trails, and for reasons unknown to man, they kept me around for Dinosaur Resurrection, and who knows what else.
And hi, I'm Ribos. I've been around since early on with Geofront with Trails from Zero, Trails to Azure, and East Versus on the programming side, and I also work with now Dinosaur and upcoming projects. We also did like that one off of Computer the Golf once. That was fun.
Oh, Computer the Golf!
Yeah, I remember Computer the Golf.
Yeah, baby, golf!
Okay, sure. And so effectively, we have made 4 translation patches so far, and we have one that's coming on the way that's announced, and we have a couple that are coming out that are unannounced that may actually be announced by the end of today, so stick around.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and move on. So I want to be able to provide a little bit of context for Falcom for anyone here who may not know. So I want to ask a question to the audience. So by show of hands, before walking into this room, how many of you heard of Falcom? Okay, so that's basically everyone. And so keep your hands raised in the air if you have at least played a game from Falcom. Okay, so basically everyone. I see at least a couple people who haven't, so I'm just going to provide a very brief bit of context. So basically Falcom is a company that's been around since 1982. I believe their first game that they made was Galactic Wars. That's correct, right, John G? Okay, cool. So, and effectively, you know, it's like their most well-known franchises, and basically everyone here would have known about them, is their Trails and Ease franchises. But there's actually, I mean, they've made a lot of other IPs and a lot of other games, such as Brandish and Zwei and Vantage Master and Sorcerian and Guraman. And there's actually quite a lot that, you know, and I think, did I say Xanadu? You know, there's a lot of, the company has a very, very rich history. Yet despite that fact, Falcom has, for the most part, not been very well known in, or at least in the West, at least as of like 15 to 20 years ago. They've been picking up more steam lately, and that's in large part because Falcom, at least I think as of like 2006 to 2009, they started reaching out to more of their Western localization partners. And so some of those partners are as follows. And those are Exceed Games, NIS America, Axis, and Mastiff. And they have primarily been working on what I would like to call the modern era of games, and that's just a self-described title for the purpose of this panel, which is basically from games from 2003 to 2022. And so I've actually put a list together of all of the games that they have localized up until this point. And that's what you have right here, which is a lot of them are, you know, from the Trail series and the Ease games, which those were primarily done by Exceed and NIS America. Exceed also worked on Brandish the Dark Revenant. They also worked on Xanadu Next and Zwei 2. And then Mastiff worked on Guraman, and Axis Games worked on Tokyo Xanadu. And then we also have several other games that are coming up in at least the next, or actually this year. And so we have The Legend of Heroes, Trails to Azure. What was it called again? I'm gonna die. Trails into Reverie, and then Nayata Boundless Trails, all of which are coming courtesy of NIS America. And what's significant, at least to me from this, is that all of them are coming this year, in 2023. And part of the reason why that, like, you know, that means a lot to me is that I believe this is the first time in, like, you know, English Falcom history that we are having like 3 Falcom releases coming all at once in 1 year, which, you know, and that's important to me because, you know, especially in previous years, you know, there were at least some degree of uncertainty about like whether we would be getting some of these Falcom localizations. Like back in FC, you know, some people were thinking, are we going to be getting a localization for Trails in the Sky SE? And are we going to be getting localizations for Crossbell? And, you know, I've heard people say there's no way we're going to get localizations for Nayata. Look right there. There's quite a lot, and it's just we're now at a point where people are no longer going in and saying like, when are we going to be getting? Or they're saying. They're not asking like, will we be getting these games? It's when will we be getting these games? And so that is a great position that we are in for modern Falcom fans. However, that is not the case for classic Falcom games. Basically, and just to show this list again, this all applies for Falcom games that have been released in the last 20 years. However, I mentioned that Falcom has been making games since 1982. So there's like 2 decades that is not being covered by this time. And so I put together a list of the amount of games that official publishers have covered with regards to these classic titles. And those games are just Popful Mail and Zwei 1. Now, there's a few, this list does not account for ports that were made by other developers. I believe Brandish for the SNES was also localized, and I think that some of the Ease 1 and 2 ports were made by...
Things like Xanadu.
Yeah. But for the most part, right.
You know,
it's
more...
like this is definitely a niche that is not being covered by a lot of this stuff. And so I've also put together a list of Falcom games from the classics that have not been localized as of yet. And this is kind of a messy collage that I put together, and this collage does not account for ports that are made by other developers. This just accounts for Falcom-developed games, and it does not count fan-translated Falcom games. So these are all games that you currently that Japanese fans, they can be able to go into these, a Japanese store and be able to play them in their native language, but English-speaking Falcom fans cannot play any of these games. And so that leads into the importance of fan translations. So all of these games that I have here these are Falcom games. Some of these are not Falcom developed. These are made by ports. Some of them are made by ports by other developers. But these are all games that are only accessible via fan translations. And they're only accessible because fans took the time to go in and put these games up on, put these patches up for people to go in and play. And that's an advantage that fan translations have. It's like because a fan can be able to do that just from passion and just from, just spending their free time. An official publisher cannot do that because, they have to be able to make money. They have to be doing this for a living. And it's hard to go in and sell some of these games for, a modern localization audience when they look like this. And this is Computer the Golf. And, we all go into like Computer the Golf. We like it. It's a great game, great game. But it is also almost impossible to sell this as a localization. Now, this is a little bit of
this year.
Yeah. In a modern 2022 climate, right? And so it's like, and this is a little bit of an extreme example. 90s games, Falcom games definitely look a little bit better than this. But it's like the further back you go from like from the 2000s to the 90s and the 80s, the harder it gets to be able to justify this, in terms of a modern localization setting, because you have, it's like these people, companies have to go in and pay their localization staff. Overhead is always a very expensive thing. Licensing costs are very expensive. People underestimate that. And marketing expenses are always going to be, that they're always going to be high. And so it's hard to go in and justify going back and doing some of these older releases over, some modern or, just some more lucrative deals. And that is, and that's something that, it's like, that is a barrier for official localization companies, but that is not a barrier that the Geofront has to worry about or other fan translations have to go in and worry about. And it's like, in part, we do this work because we love Falcom. And that's the reason, like that's what drives us to be able to work on all of this stuff, is because we love Falcom games. We love the classics. We love the modern stuff. And it's like, I know I do this in part because, I like being able to work with these goofy goobers. I've worked with them for 3 years. And
we love you, Sly.
I love you guys too. These are friends that, I go in and do this. But, it's like, I do this work in part because I want to go in and play the classic games. And so it's like, if I can be able to go in and spend at least a little bit of time working on some of these translation stuff, and if that helps make them accessible to a broader audience, then to me, that's time well spent. And so that's why I do this work, and that's why I think we all go in and do this work. And so just to reiterate some of the titles that we have worked on currently, we've worked on the fan translations for Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure before NIS went and acquired and announced their versions. And we also worked on a fan localization for East versus Trails in the Sky and Computer Golf. Best one. And so what we are currently working on that we have announced is Dinosaur Resurrection. And, and this period, or at least, and this period, it's like the Geofront's goal right now is, at least its primary directive is going to be working on the classics library from here onward, because for the most part, a lot of the Falcom games, with a couple of exceptions, have already received official localizations, but there are a lot of classic games. There are a lot of really cool games that have not been given official localizations, and so that's going to be our job. And so right now, that's initiative has started with Computer the Golf, and it is continuing with Dinosaur Resurrection, which we have two of the editors right over here, so I'm gonna pass the baton to them and let them carry it on.
Everybody give Sly a big hand here.
Thanks much, Sly. So what I wanted to do with my time here real quick is sort of demystify the process of localization, because to many, myself included before I entered the Geofront, it can seem like this vague and nebulous thing that isn't very well defined. But over my time editing Dinosaur Resurrection, I've come to learn that it's simultaneously is and is not what I expected. For starters, the first thing we do when we work on a localization is we scope out the technical specifications and requirements of the project. And that is where programmers like Ribos, Jose, and others in our stable, they work to create a technical foundation where we figure out what we can do with a script dump, what we can do as far as text insertion goes, what we can do as far as tweaks like widescreen, upscaling, etc. are concerned. Do you want to go into more depth about that, or are you good?
I mean, for the most part, it's like, well, with the older titles, we've shown that we, like personally, my tasks is generally like the launchers and stuff and the user interface stuff and making sure that things feel like a port that is not just the text, because sometimes these games are quite old and don't quite work on modern systems and stuff like that. So me, together with Jose, we work on these projects by, disassembling them and figuring out how they work, which ends up being a lot of trial and error. And unlike editing, for example, like you have a clear progression, like you have this many boxes total, right? With programming, you have all these different issues. Some of them may be really easy to fix and some of them may be really challenging to fix, or we just don't know the answer yet, but we can experiment and figure out, using many publicly available tools and processes out there. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Ghidra. It's a cool decompilation tool that's free and open source. But anyway, there's just like tools like that we use, and we write a whose vibrations?
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah, and so like we use those to get the script out and give it to the editors in a usable format, and then we patch the game and make a pretty launcher that lets you play it.
Yeah,
That's
our programmers
basically
are
the
kind of like our firefighters. They are constantly putting out fires as soon as bugs come up or any issues. And that's really an extremely difficult part.
Yeah,
We
and one of the
appreciate
things
it.
that I always like to talk about is how the importance of things like issue tracking and stuff for making those processes go well. And that's one of the things that I'm always like talking about within the group, is making sure that we're on top of things and don't forget about this kind of thing in terms of the technical side.
Yeah. I quickly learned that I do not have the patience for working on the programming side of things, but I do have patience working with these goobers. So once we figure out a technical base for our project, that's when we move on to the first step of the localization process, and that is the translation itself. And the translation isn't quite as straightforward as I once thought it was. If you could go ahead and click. The translation, at least the base form of it, is not what you see in the final release of a product. It is meant to be a template and a springboard for editors, like myself, like Finch, like Sly, to transfer the ideas behind the words into a format you can digest. Sometimes all you need to do to work the translation into a finished product is nothing. Sometimes the base translation makes perfect sense as it is. Sometimes the line is perfectly digestible. But there are some things that you can't directly translate, things like jokes, puns, idioms, dialects. It's just as much a creative exercise as it is interpretation, and finding that balance is what gives the translation the character and the quality that we strive for. Even sometimes you can just fall into pitfalls by translating things word for word. Japanese in particular has a lot of false friends. One of the Pokemon games has a building that's called mansion, which is a Japanese loan word taken from the English mansion. Naturally, the word mansion in Japanese means apartment complex. And this was translated wrong through Gen 4 of Pokemon when they initially translated it as Celadon Mansion and changed it to Celadon Condominiums. Sometimes puns, idioms, even if they have the same exact words, can mean completely different things. Cat got your tongue is a common phrase in English that means you're at a loss for words, like I have been throughout this entire panel. But to have a
Wait,
cat
what
tongue.
the heck? Are you kidding me?
Everybody sign in.
Speaking of lost for words here,
Yeah, just click the top left.
but
What? I don't Mac.
Red button.
Right. This touchpad is really not my.
There you go. He did it.
hey,
The touchpad is really finicky. Oh my!
shut up.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Just hit cancel on the bottom right. There you go.
Yeah. So those same exact words, cat tongue in Japanese,
Fine.
are an idiom that means something completely different. It means you can't handle spicy food.
Okay, that's fine.
So it's interesting to see the difference in cultural context, even down to the individual word. And that ultimately is what a localization needs to do. It needs to make sure the ideas translate between two very different, very unique cultural contexts. That is where the first editing pass comes in. The editing pass is making the ideas laid out in the translation make sense to you. And that can entail doing any number of things, from changing terminology to make more sense, to changing individual phrases, to even things as drastic as taking a look at how characters are voiced with things like dialects and speech patterns and intonation and diction. It's basically like a coat of sandpaper over the translation that works to refine and upgrade it to the extent that we are confident with it as a finished product that you can read in a sense of both translation and creative writing. So once we're done with the editing pass, once we believe that the quality of our script is up to snuff, that is when we use a second editing pass, which is similar to the first, but acts as just another coat of finer sandpaper, because we will inevitably make mistakes. There will always be something we screw up, whether it's a typo here or there. The project lead for Dinosaur just commented that one of us used the wrong version of the word fowl, so we were inadvertently referencing a chicken. So there will inevitably be some things that we need to smooth out. Once that is done, then we finally move on to the testing process of our work, where we combine everything together, from script to technicals to audio visuals, and we basically sick the entire team on it. This is often where we bring in people who otherwise had nothing to do with the project. For example, I was brought on at first for QA for East versus Trails, which I helped release by adding to its issues on its issue tracker and just generally helping refine the script along with the editors and helping refine the game along with the programmers. So that is our pipeline in a nutshell. Once we're confident with everything, we ship it to you, you send us about 1 million more bug reports, and then we fix those too. So here's an example of what that thought process is like in action. This here is the raw Japanese text for the description of an in-game item. It's called the Warhammer. And that sounds all big and bulky, but it's actually a one-handed equipable item. And the translation reflects that by saying, metal hammer for combat. Weight reduced enough to use one-handed, so it doesn't live up to its name. The ideas that the translator conveyed here were, 1, it is not as heavy as it seems, and 2, that because it is not as heavy as it seems, its name is misleading. The wording itself, though, is not meant to stay, partially because this is 100 characters long, which is longer than our 45 by 2 character limit for item descriptions, and partially because we just want to make it make more sense and sound better from an English prose standpoint. So we were given the task to chop this down while preserving the ideas presented in the script. And that led to what we came up with. Sounds bulky, but it really isn't. It's light enough to use one-handed. False advertising?
I recognize that text.
That was some of the first stuff they had me work on. You sadist. But yeah, that is a brief overview of what localization entails. And to speak more in depth about Dinosaur, I will hand it over to my editor buddy, Matthew Finch.
That's a mistake.
I
Can you go ahead and click?
I trusted you.
So, today I'm here to talk to you briefly about Dinosaur Resurrection. Just a show of hands, how many of you have seen the trailer we put out for Dinosaur Resurrection about a year ago now? Okay, not that many, but I'm here to. I mean, it was a while ago. So, Dinosaur Resurrection. I think you could click one more time for the logo to appear. There we go. Dinosaur Resurrections are really like niche dungeon crawling, kind of Etrian Odyssey-esque. And I think that's like the best descriptor for this kind of game. Falcom game it's a remake of an like 80s Falcom game, but
Is it on the next slide?
I'm trying to think. You know, I had notes, and my notes were a whole whopping wing it.
Are you kidding me?
Wait, are you serious?
I do have it on the USB.
So-
but do you have USB-C?
When we originally put out the trailer for Dinosaur Resurrection, I know we released it with the text at the end going, first pass, 50%. We had a video today to announce something for you guys, but we seem to be having a bit of an issue with
You
the
don't have
video.
any more ports, do you? You don't have any more ports. Where
I don't have any
would you
ports.
put
Do you
it?
have a USB port?
This is a tiny metal.
Bear with them for a moment. So I guess I'll talk to you about Dinosaur a bit while they're doing tech stuff over there. So Dinosaur is, to me, honestly, probably one of the most interesting games in Falcom's old school catalog, just simply by the fact that
Are
it
you
is
not connected to the
incredibly weird. It is a very weird game. Like, Kiseki, it's relatively normal. Everybody here's probably played a Kiseki game. Normal by as in...
Oh, fine. Have it your way, felons.
Have it your way, phone, or should I say sixth anguis of Ouroboros,
Oh my God,
the vibration.
You're just gonna broadcast this.
So,
Can I have an adult, please?
so,
Then I gotta get takeoffs.
so, Dinosaur is cryptic, it's vague, it doesn't spell out its plot for you, its characters
You're really
range
going
from
to put it in
like bland JRPG party to Randy, not Orlando. I need to specify this quick before you think, you know, he came from Dinosaur Resurrection and reincarnated into Crossbell for some reason. No, this is different Randy. Absolutely crazy person who my co-editor here had the pleasure.
Yeah, I don't think we.
Six was an Ouroboros. Are you trying to call me or something? Okay. Anyway, yeah, so Dinosaur, to me, I think when you guys finally get a chance to play it, is the video gonna work or should I,
No, I
should I
don't
just
think
talk
it's
around
connected
it?
to the internet.
You guys need a hotspot? We do have.
We are already using a hotspot for that. Oh my goodness.
We are experiencing technical difficulties, much like Dinosaur Resurrection. So, Dinosaur is a game
I
that
don't know how to connect on this, but it's probably one of these things on top.
has been an absolute challenge for us to edit, not just from its text being vague and honestly having to consult our project lead multiple times just for what does this mean to just it's incredibly cryptic. Oh my god.
I mean,
They're saying it's tapping right now.
I don't into Mac. I can't control.
I know I'm struggling on this segment.
Somebody who knows how to Mac scroll this with
I know I'm struggling, but man,
Like
the internet's
the
struggling a bit
touchpad-
harder than I am.
is I don't.
So we're offline.
We're
What's going
offline.
on?
We're just
That's-
trying to get in to set up a hotspot.
Let's try Mac and stuff again.
No, I got this. I'm just trying to see what's happening here before I continue saying anything because I actually do have an announcement for Dinosaur quick. So I'm gonna just fill time about Dinosaur for a moment. Bear with me. I'm going to try my best because honestly, the thing about Dinosaur is I can't say too much about it because I want you guys to play the game. Like
I mean, there's also
the thing about Dinosaur is that anything I say or really kind of explain to you ruins that vagueness that you get when you go into it. It's
Seeing 3 hotspots.
the game is like slowly unraveling a mystery, not just from its plot, but from its gameplay mechanics, its character dynamics. how the party system works, how the combat system works, how random encounters work. And by that I mean you might take one step and fight a bee, fight the bee, take another step, fight another bee, and then not fight an enemy for like 27 steps and then suddenly fight a horde of bees. So that's Dinosaur for you. But this game.
Back in the slideshow.
Okay, there's technical difficulties are going to be the theme of this segment.
I think we got it.
Oh,
There's no enemy in Dinosaur Resurrection called the Gaylord, but I wish there was.
I look forward to dinner reserved. That's a joke. Oh God. We got nothing for that. Is the video good to play? Because I'd like to show you guys some Dinosaur Resurrection before I riff it.
Go back.
There you go.
There's Ash, the titular protagonist of Dinosaur Resurrection. Sadly, his last name is not Dinosaur.
I think we might have to pull up the videos on YouTube.
I think if you click play now, I think it'll actually play the video.
Click play.
I just click play.
Okay, we've gone back to the start of the panel.
Welcome, everyone.
Welcome to Falcom Localizations, then now in the future.
I am so
We're your
sorry.
hosts, the Geofront.
I am dying.
Me too.
All right, click play first.
You think you can play it inside here? Oh,
Type a word to look up in Wikipedia. Can we look up dinosaur?
This is what it's like to localize the panel.
Yeah. So this trailer. I want to quickly clarify
gonna be
something for
15
everybody when it comes
seconds.
to
It
this
wasn't
trailer.
like
If
that.
this trailer plays, it is not representative of the final product at all. This was made using a build
There
from
we go. There we go.
a while ago that we used for the original trailer.
Should be loading. It's trying to play.
It's trying to play the trailer.
Let it buffer.
Yeah, it's a 30-second trailer. This is everybody
Apologies, everybody.
pray to dinosaur. Actually, don't do that. That might resurrect him.
it's crazy that the stream PC might actually have a better job at playing these.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll just do my dinosaur segment without the trailer, I think.
Okay,
It's
yeah, we'll
really
skip-
not that important of a trailer, and I know the trailers we have coming are more important, so if you guys want to try to get that set up, I'll just do my dinosaur segment.
There we go.
There's hope!
It's really important.
It is, actually. This is really big news about Dinosaur that I really want to share with you guys through the trailer that I recorded the day before we saved this project.
Yeah!
Okay, but do we have sound?
We have sounds.
Hang on.
It's quiet. It has sound. It's just really quiet. I present to you guys.
We're good.
I present to you guys the opening of Dinosaur for a moment, and some previews of locations.
There are no dinosaurs.
And our
Dinosaurs and
announcement.
dinosaur.
We are now in the second.
So, when we initially announced Dinosaur Resurrection, Dinosaur was 50% through its first pass. I am pleased to say that we have reached the second pass stage of Dinosaur Resurrection. It was a long road to get here. This game is very complicated. It took us a long time to find the voices for these characters. On top of that, pretty much every other month, a member of the team was sick. Our project lead was sick. I was sick for an extended period of time. Stolt, myself, and the project lead were sick at one point. This project is cursed.
Apparently, it breaks internet connections too.
Apparently, Dinosaur is so cursed it caused the Gaylord Wi-Fi internet to kick us out, and they just did not want to show the trailer. So we are in second pass. You may note that we still do not have a date for release for Dinosaur. We are not able to announce what stage the second pass is in. We are not able to announce when it's coming out. When it's ready is basically what I can say. I know that might sound crazy. This game really isn't that huge, but let me say this game is incredibly complicated to localize. Very old, kind of Japanese. I think that was what Fishbone, our project lead, said. Is the game is very like old school Japanese writing, and localizing that is a huge challenge. Like
Stop right there.
Kiseki, Is, they're all written in kind of more modern Japanese. this wasn't, apparently, according to our project lead. I don't speak a lick of Japanese. Shanji over there does, but the only thing I know in Japanese is nothing. So, yeah.
That's why our translators are important.
Yeah, that's actually why translators are important. So, when it comes to Dinosaur, honestly, there's not much more we could reveal for you today. We showed some locations. Those are all very early game locations. The thing about Dinosaur is it's very exploration heavy. I know I'm basically saying not a lot, and I cannot give you a lot, and I apologize for that. I just want to at least say that we're still working on it. I know there were some people in the public Geofront Discord that were like, is Dinosaur dead? Well, dinosaurs died several billion years ago, but this project's still kicking. So, yeah. Thank you for clapping at my joke. I would have felt really bad if that didn't stick.
All right.
So, yeah. All right, so you guys,
I think
it's
we're
up
ready.
to you.
All right, well, thank you, Matthew. So, again, everybody, I'm Shanji. I'm translator, interpreter. I've worked with these guys for a long time now. Very proud to call them all my friends, and very proud to be here with all of you. They have given me the distinct honor of getting to announce some of our new projects, and I'm very, very pleased to share that with you. So first up, we've got a fun little trailer that just happens, and hopefully this one will work this time. But it happens to feature our resident voice artist over here, Stolt. He does a lot of voice work for us. We love him for that. He has a wonderful voice, don't you think?
Kill me.
Yeah. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video.
When it plays.
After it buffers.
Experience a world of excitement and adventure in Dragon Slayer. Prepare for Nihon Falcom's video game masterpiece to invade your living room. Now in English for the first time and like you've never seen it before. Explore a perilous labyrinth teeming with monsters and treasure. But tread with caution, young adventurer, for a powerful three-headed dragon dwells deep within. Compete with up to 4 players as you cast spells and gain experience on your way to its lair. Make the end of glorious battle, slay the fiend, and claim the crown so that you too may call yourself a Dragon Slayer. Peter Thompson.
So you guys surprised about that one?
Experience a world
That's yeah. Yeah, we've been working on this for a while now, actually. It's been kind of a side project. I want to give big props to Chuji. He is our editor, and we love him to death, and he does incredible work on video editing, and this is just one example. Thank you again to Stolt for doing the voice work for the trailer. I know you're hanging your head there a little bit, but...
I want to also thank Chuji for making my voice sound tolerable.
But yeah, so the other big thing I want to announce about this right now is that you can actually play this right now. It is live today. The announcement post will go up on the Geofront. It should be happening right now, and yeah, you don't run away though. We do have another announcement. But yeah, so the announcement post should have gone up on the Geofront website. That'll give you all the directions you need. It's up on Tabletop Simulator. And it's a lot of fun. We had a good time with it. We hope you will too. And if you're lucky, maybe you'll run into some Geofront members playing on there, and we can play around together. But so that was pretty exciting. But please don't run off yet, because the next major announcement that we have is one that we're all very, very proud of and very excited to share with you. And we will go ahead and roll the clip for you now.
Notice my logo?
I cannot tell you how long it feels. Cannot tell you how long it feels like we've been waiting to show you that. Sly talked a lot earlier about how one of our goals as a group is to give English speakers the opportunity to play these Falcom games that we never got in the West. And well, this is one that we've been wanting to tackle for a while. The White Witch. So for those of you who don't know, The White Witch was originally released in 1994 for the NEC's PC 9801 home computer, which is one of the best-selling titles, PC titles in Japan. Right up there, it's not quite to the level of Xanadu. Xanadu sold something in the neighborhood of 500,000 copies. This sold about 150,000 copies, and it's a well-beloved RPG from this era. For those of you who don't know, Toshihiro Kondo, the now president of Falcom, this is the game that basically brought him into the company because he started a fan site based around it. And he loves this game. You can find so if you look here, these are our two main characters. This is Jurio and Chris. So let's talk about what White Witch is about. So the story is about two teenagers, Jurio and Chris, who set out on a coming-of-age journey, which is a rite of passage in their village. And as they make their way from continent to continent, they meet a number of unique and lovable characters, all the while learning more and more about the titular White Witch. I don't want to reveal too much about the plot for those who aren't familiar with it, but there's a reason that this game is very near and dear to my heart. And I can't wait for you to have the opportunity to play it for yourselves. So I am... my role on this is I am the lead translator. I've been working on this for now, a year and a half, something like that. It's been a while, just on the side from my regular day job. But there's something very special about this story, and I really hope that you'll all look forward to going on the journey with us. So some people might be wondering which version of the game that we're working on. Well, for us, we feel that the Windows version. He was closest to the original experience while also offering the most accessibility. I'm a big fan of the PC 98 version myself, but we are going to go with the Windows version. So speaking of accessibility, you can actually go to DL site right now and purchase the game for less than $10. And although just please be aware that you won't be able to do much with it until we get our patch out, and that's for multiple reasons. But just in case those of you that own physical copies are concerned you might be left out in the cold, please don't worry, as we plan to support those versions as well. So are we going to do the entire trilogy? That's a big question. Our intention is to do the entire trilogy. We want to do the entire trilogy, but we are not going to commit to it immediately. But what we are going to commit to is that White Witch will 100% come out, the guaranteed. It is coming, no question. So we hope you'll look forward to that. So final question that some people might have is, when will it be out? And the short answer for that is basically when it's ready. I think I speak for everyone here when I say that we consider ourselves perfectionists. And we want to treat this story with the careful respect that we believe it deserves. That's incredibly important to us, and while we want to get it out there to you as fast as we possibly can, we're also going to take as much time as we need to make sure we do it right, and that you have an unforgettable experience with it. So we're making fantastic progress, and to prove it, here's a few early in-development images that we brought to share with you.
Yeah.
So just click through those if you would, Raffle. Just to show we do actually have text insertion working. So as a translator, getting to work on a game like The White Witch that I have so much respect and passion for is really a dream come true. It is truly a special game, and I can't wait for you to play it. So, with all that said, we do still have the matter of our raffle to attend to, and I was just given the 10-minute sign a minute ago, so I think we have just a little bit of time to do this. Before I jump into that, I want to give a big shout out to Rob over at Pinbox. This was not a sponsored thing. We didn't get any money for this. He just really wanted to offer us some goodies to give out to you guys. We love him. He's been tolerant of us. But yeah, so He was very generous to provide us with all these prizes. And if you're not familiar with them, you really should be. They make not only incredible pins, but t-shirts, backpacks, hoodies, wall scrolls. They have wall scrolls now that are amazing. Some crazy resolution on the wall scrolls he showed me. They have tons of Falcom goodies, and they also have stuff from other companies, like if you like Atlas, or if you like Way Forward, or any other developers that you might be interested in. They have probably a number of other deals lined up that I don't even know about. So big shout out to Rob. And without further ado, I can't get my words straight. We're gonna announce our first big prize, and I don't know if any of you all are familiar with bruhfish. So this is the golden bruh. If any of you are not aware of this, there are only 3 of these in existence. Rob produced 3 of these as tests. One of them went to Falcom's main offices in Japan. The other one is this one here, and the third one we have no idea. No idea. So, let's take a look at, let's see, Ribos, did you jump out of the presentation and back in just to make sure we're refreshed? All right, we're gonna do this really fast since we've got to get everybody out. We'd hoped to do some Q&A time, but unfortunately, we're probably gonna have to wrap up pretty quickly. But we are gonna announce the big prizes. And if you would, if you have a winning ticket, if you'll just carefully kind of line up maybe around the back corner of the room over there on that end, and as you're on your way out, we'll hand you your prize. The smaller prizes will be slightly more minimal, but we'll get to that here in a minute. Okay, so let's reveal who has won the golden bruhfish.
I don't know.
Click it one more time. Who has 0350441?
I don't know. Did the numbers?
This man right here?
Did the numbers get?
Give him a big hand, everybody. Come on up, sir. Come on up. While we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and announce the Excel pin winners, because we also have 5 Excel pins from Pinbox. Let's just confirm that real quick. 0350441. Yes, he is our winner. Thank you, guys. Won the golden bruhfish. 5 minutes left. Okay, we're gonna go through this real fast. So, okay, next. So, Ribos, will you go ahead and click forward? We have 5 XL pins that we're gonna also be giving away.
I'm still trying to continue. Like, I haven't heard of confirmation. Are the numbers ready?
Oh, are the numbers ready, Ada? Yep.
Okay. Good.
All right. So these are large XL pins. You'll forgive there is a little bit of packing material inside here. Rob just wanted to keep them safe. So we've got 5 XL pins to give away. And if you have these ticket numbers, please come up to the stage now. Let's see what you got, sir. 0350428. Oh, yep, that's one. You get that one. Let's see, what we got? What else have we got? Let's see, 0350457. There you are. Let's see. We got 0350446. All right, is that up? Anybody tell me if it's not up there? I can't see it from here. Oh, thank you. 0350433. Ooh, got the Estelle pin.
Bonking time.
Thank you. 0350434. And the other Estelle pin, because we actually have 2 of them. Give them all a big hand, everybody. And if you didn't win one of those, don't feel bad, because as we are exiting and kind of clearing out, if you would just please be respectful of everybody as you're moving out. People who, we're going to show a slide up here in just a minute that has the other winning tickets. And if you see your number on there, please go to the back and kind of file out that way. And everybody else, if you'll file out this way, we'd really appreciate it. Again, thank you all so much for coming. It means so much for us, for you to be here. Please give these guys a big hand. These guys are amazing. We love them. Thank you for tolerating all the hiccups along the way. And thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your MAGFest. Oh, and I do want to make one more small plug for our friend Prostacon. He's got a panel tomorrow, actually, and it is at 5:30 to 6:30 in this same panel room. He's going to be doing a panel called Gameu, and it also involves a little bit of help, I think, from
It also involves the history behind the creator of that Dragon Slayer game that became a board game. If you want to know more about the history behind Dragon Slayer, my panel will cover some of that.
Thank you very much. And thank Persicon very much for helping us with some of our technical issues here a minute ago.
And on my back is White Witch.
Thank you, everybody, again. Have a great night.